Hi everyone. Hope my first video on GRC access control has given you a brief understanding on what is exactly GRC and what is a brief history about GRC and the current versions that are running in the market. Okay, and the 5 applications of GRC and the brief definition about the 5 applications, and then our main concentration, access control, and what are the 4 components of access control that we have discussed in our first video. And this is the second session or the second video, the continuation to the first video. Actually I've recorded it previously, some time back, but there has been some issue in the sound or volume, so I'm again repeating the same thing which I have explained in that video. So this is the second part or the second video of GRC access control. Okay, in our first video we have seen what is ARA. ARA is nothing but access risk analysis. By using this we can perform risk analysis for any number of users at a single time. Okay, this is one part, and the second part or the main use of ARA is we can create a risk-free user, which is better than the first one, because in the first case you've already created users without your knowledge. You have assigned certain roles, okay, which contains some risk, which contains some SOD conflict. Okay, so that is the first thing. And the second thing is creating a risk-free user. That means before creating a user itself, you will know you can create a risk-free user. That means the user before creating an axis and after creating the axis and assigning at the time of assigning the roles itself, will assign him certain roles which are completely risk-free. That means if the roles are risk-free, obviously the user is also risk-free. So the main advantage of access risk analysis is creating a risk-free user. Okay, so by using access risk analysis, we can do risk analysis in the whole system, and we can find out if any user has a risk. This is the main advantage of access risk analysis. Okay, and also in this video I would like to tell you some important terms or some topics like SOD, remediation and mitigation, which are associated with access risk analysis. Because without knowing these terms, learning access risk analysis is not worthy. Okay, so we should know what is SOD, what is remediation, and what is mitigation. Okay, SOD is nothing but segregation of duties. It is nothing but, suppose an organization has 10 users or 10 employees. Employee 1 or user 1 has to do certain activities for which he is permitted to do, and the user 2 has to do certain activities, or he has to perform certain actions which he is authorized to do. So that is nothing but segregation of duties. So when there is a conflict in that segregation of duties, that is called as SOD conflict. In security terms or in GRC, we can define SOD conflict as one user or an individual should not have complete control over the process. That means a single user should not have complete control over the process, because if that happens, there is a chance of risk. Chance of risk is nothing but chance of fraud, which is a security violation, which in GRC terms we are calling it as SOD conflict. Okay, this only I'll briefly explain with 2 examples. The first example I am giving is an functional example. Suppose assume that a user XYZ is there in the finance department. You can take any department, HR department, accounts, finance, and finance department especially plays a very critical role, because all the critical data, the payments, everything will be there related to the finance. So I have taken an example of a finance user. Okay, finance department user, assume the username is XYZ. User XYZ is having access to raise a payment request. Okay, he is having access to raise a payment request, and the same person has access to approve the payment request, which is nothing but SOD conflict, because same person is raising a payment request, and the same person has the authority or the authorization to approve the payment request, which is nothing but he is having a complete control over the particular process. So that is nothing but a SOD conflict. That is nothing but a chance of risk. As I said, chance of risk is nothing but chance of fraud. This is the best functional example that I can give for SOD conflict. And the second one is some technical example. Any SAP basis guy or SAP technical guy or an SAP security guy or a GRC consultant will definitely know what is the risk if we give or assign these two transaction codes to any basis consultant or a security consultant or a GRC consultant. Okay, so in this case, an user ABC has access to T codes SU01 and PFCG. Okay, SU01 is a T code which is used for user creation and user administration or user maintenance, and PFCG is a transaction code which is used for role creation, role maintenance, or role administration. Most of the, 100%, most of the security and or the basis guys knows this. I'm just giving a brief explanation on what by the definitions of SU01 and PFCG. Okay, so if an user ABC has access to this both these T codes SU01 and PFCG, he can create a dummy user and can access the payroll data. How he can create a dummy user? Because he is having SU01 access to SU01 transaction code. So by using that SU01 transaction code, he can create a dummy user, right? And he can access the payroll data by allocating a role. And he is also having the access to PFCG, which is nothing but role allocation, role maintenance, role administration, whatever it is, anything related to role. So he can allocate that particular role, and he can access the payroll data. So in this case also, this person ABC is having a complete control over a particular process. So this is nothing again but a SOD conflict. This is a functional example, and this is a technical example. There is nothing but a SOD conflict. SOD conflict is nothing but again a chance of risk. Chance of risk is nothing but again a chance of fraud. So I hope the concept of SOD and the definition and the examples are very clear to all of you. And next concept is remediation. What is this remediation? Suppose you have performed risk analysis for 10 users, and out of the 10 users you came to know that 5 users are having risk, because without your knowledge or without intentionally, without your intention, you have created those users and you have assigned certain roles, which you should not do generally, because that roles have conflicts. That roles have T transaction codes which should not go together. Okay, so after performing risk analysis, you came to know that out of the 10 users, 5 users have risk. So you want to simply remove the risk. You have to either remove the roles from that particular 5 users. What are the roles which are causing risk? That roles you have to remove. So the removing the risk from the user is called remediation. It's as simple as that. Remedy, generally it's a medical term. If you have any problem, health problem or some cough or cold, you generally listen this term remedy. So the same term in GRC it is called as remediation. After performing risk analysis, if you know that any user is having risk, okay, then you want to make the particular user risk free, you have to remove that risk. How you will remove that risk? You will remove that role or particular profile or role which is giving him that particular risk. So when you remove the risk, that user is remediated. That means that there is no risk now, because you have already removed the risk. Okay, by removing that particular role or particular transaction code, whatever it is. So that is called remediation. Next one is mitigation. I'm going bit fast because actually I've already recorded this session, but there is some audio problem in that recording. So again I am repeating the same video. I hope this time it's very clear. And second, the next term is mitigation. What is this mitigation? See, we have seen what is SOD, what is SOD conflict. I've given 2 examples, and then remediation, and now mitigation. Mitigation is nothing but as per the organization requirement or business requirement, we need to allow the risk to the user, and this is called mitigation. Okay, that means we know that there is a risk, but still we are allowing that risk to be taken, that actions to be performed at a particular user. Why? Because we don't have any other option. Okay, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Like I am, for example, think that I am working in a very small organization where I am the only person, or where I am the only security guy, security consultant, SAP security consultant. So obviously I will be having the permissions or the authorizations to create a user and also to assign the roles to that user. That means I am having a complete control over the process, which is actually a SOD conflict according to the business. But as per my organization requirement, as per my business requirement, we don't have any other person who can look after the roles. So I am only creating the user and I am only assigning the roles to that particular user, all the users, whatever the new request or whatever it is. So here, allowing the risk to the user is called mitigation, because we don't have any other option. You don't have any other second security consultant. So I am only creating the user. I am only assigning the roles to that particular user which I have created. Okay. Now you can ask me. Anybody can get a question, doubt like, then what is the use? See, again now I'll tell you that. Again, in mitigation, this is just a brief introduction or a definition of what is mitigation. Again, in mitigation you have so many concepts, like if you are allowing that risk means, again you have a process called, you have to create a mitigation ID, you have to create a mitigation controller, mitigation owner, mitigation approver. Once the process is followed, then only we will allow that risk. Simply we can't allow that risk in GRC, because GRC we are using, access control we are using to make the system risk free, to make the business risk free. As anybody can ask a question, if you are allowing the risk, what is the use of GRC access control? That means again for this mitigation process, again for this mitigation concept, there is a lot of process. You have to create a mitigation ID, you have to assign a mitigation owner for that mitigation owner, controller. After the approvals only we will allow that risk to be taken place, because we don't have other option. So that concepts we will see in the coming videos. So in this video, I hope that the concepts are very clear. If there are any doubts, you can leave a comment. I will definitely reply to your comments. So in this video we have seen what is ARA, that is nothing but access risk analysis, and what is the main use of access risk analysis, and we have seen the definition of terms like SOD, remediation and mitigation. What is SOD, what is remediation, and what is mitigation? Okay, so if you really like this video and if you can understand it clearly, please like this video, share it, and provide me comments. If you have any doubts also, you can ask me in the comments. I'll definitely try to reply. So keep liking my YouTube channel and keep liking my videos, If you really like it, please share, do subscribe, and I'll be planning to prepare more videos and to upload more videos on the same concept, access GRC access control. So keep looking for my channel for the next video. Thank you so much.